Hello everyone, welcome back the Starbeats fan. This video must watching for more interesting. Sue Aikens first rose to her first-rate level of fame after she starred on the National Geographic survival truth show Life Below Zero, so I had a wonderful amount of surgical procedures and work. Executed hundreds of thousands of human beings around the sector tuned in every week to see what she had in store for them. Years after her sudden trend, people are beginning to wonder what truly occurred to Sue Aikens from Life Before Zero. Be part of us as we explore the possibilities for the answer. Life Below Zero, the very famous documentary series Life Below Zero on the National Geographic Channel, follows a collection of 7 humans as they combat to survive the harmful and isolated life they have got hooked up for themselves within the Alaskan woods, both above and under the Arctic Circle. While some of them opt to do all of it with the aid of themselves, others are supported by way of their families. They live in a quick-paced international that would not shed a tear in the event that they did not continue to exist. The wintry weather inside the show, they can be visible fishing, foraging, and freezing. Sue Aikens lives on my own inside the Kavik River camp, which is some miles from the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge. The location is to this point away that the address has to be furnished in latitude and longitude. The location has an amazingly small populace of simply one. Sue Aikens has won recognition for her massive character and adventurous spirit in the series. She displayed incredible bravery, a phenomenal experience of power, and wonderful survival skills. She has faced a number of the worst weather situations and fierce attacks from wild creatures at some stage in her existence, but she hasn't permitted up one bit. Manufacturers at National Geographic reportedly approached Sue Aikens in 2013, approximately acting on the show, and she or he endured to appear on Life Below Zero for the subsequent decade. All struck through Sue Aikens' high-quality existence. Lovers fell in love with her proper way. Her lifestyles within the wild started while she was only a woman. She moved to Alaska with her mother. After her dad and mom divorce, eventually, her mother moved away without telling her, and that was wherein it happened. She became abandoned inside the Bloodless. A nearby Alaska resident gave her a gun and told her she would now not live on until she discovered to seek. She then continued her lifestyles in the desolate tract, pleasing her lifelong dream of living alone in step with Sue Aikens. The life she showcases on Life Below Zero warms her soul. She has been quoted as pronouncing that she needs excessive isolation to be happy. Injured in fork stunt, Sue Aikens made headlines in 2017. While she filed a lawsuit in opposition to the producers of Life Below Zero, she filed the lawsuit because she claimed that manufacturers compelled her to perform dangerous stunts. If you want to get an awesome shot on their display, the bulk of Sue Aikens' lawsuits had been directed in opposition to a singular manufacturer, whom she claimed intimidated her and other crew members. In line with her, the manufacturer's reign of terror even stretched into the realm of verbal abuse at some point on set. The manufacturer allegedly ordered Sue Aikens to overload her snowmobile, as stated in a civil lawsuit that changed into submitted to the U.S. District Court. The lawsuit claims that so as to get a shot for the series, she became made to anticipate medical interest after sustaining serious accidents. In an accident, she said that regardless of her worries approximately being harmed, she felt compelled to obey the producer's orders because of the stern terms of her British Broadcasting Company contract. Further, she believed that the display has portrayed her as a perpetually inebriated and volatile man or woman. She additionally stated that she felt like the show supposed to color her as incompetent. For extra perspectives following what virtually befell a jury located in want of Sue Aikens, and she or he became presented $28 million in damages for Sue Aikens and different fact TV stars who have suffered on the fingers of foremost networks. This got here as a massive win and a chief breakthrough. It spread the message that networks may be held answerable for their sports, and that the way they exhibit their talent matters. Many fanatics got here to the protection of Sue Aikens. They said that maximum of the show's visitors have been there to watch her within the wild. Moreover, they made the point that many viewers could have given up at the display lengthy ago. Within the absence of Sue Aikens, it's miles simplest reasonable to argue that the man or woman in price of maintaining your software must be dealt with a bit greater appreciate. No matter the lawsuit, there has been no bad blood among National Geographic and Sue Aikens, and she or he maintains to appear on the display be assault fortuitously. Most people will in no way enjoy any of the everyday struggles that the forged contributors of Life Below Zero undergo. Everyone might grow to be uninterested in handling temperatures which are constantly falling below 60 degrees and the consistent wild animals trying to turn us right into a short meal. Most might give up and move again into their comfortable homes inside per week. However, humans like Sue Aikens persevered the pain to advantage the isolation that includes it. Sue Aikens has non-public exp revel in with these kinds of risks. In 2007, she determined herself in a conflict for her existence towards an angry bear. Fortunately, she has knowledge and education on her facet, which in the end saved her life. Even a complete decade after the incident, she continues to cope with the trauma inflicted by what went down. Sue Aikens had spotted a male grizzly endure close to her camp burying caribou carcasses because she was the usage of the open place As a hell had she knew she could must take away them the undergo did not like. That and engaged in what she called an alpha push in line with her, that is what takes place whilst a weaker bear seeks to say its authority. Her subsequent come across with the undergo came about even as she become looking to fetch water. In that unique situation she had to set down her weapon, which turned into whilst the endure attacked. She mentioned that the bear changed into concealed on a river financial institution that she did not word and unexpectedly leapt out attempting to tug her into the tundra. The undergo tossed her around or even bit her head. Subsequently she controlled to shoot the endure, causing it to flee regardless of her hip joints being dislocated from being dragged into the river. She controlled to make her manner lower back home, but she could not reach everybody through the communication system. It took almost complete weeks before she became discovered, but once found she turned into added in and punctiliously examined. Remarkably, she made a whole restoration despite the fact that she bears scars that serve as a testimony to what is in all likelihood the most exciting story ever. Marital existence. The lifestyles that Sue Aikens lived before she appeared on Life Below Zero isn't completely public know-how. Sue Aikens has stated that she would not want to continuously communicate approximately her past. Nonetheless, she has shared some matters with enthusiasts global. For example, we understand that Sue Aikens has been married inside the past because it turns out she has been married to a few special guys. Her first marriage took place in the early 80s. But it unluckily didn't closing too lengthy. In a sad turn of occasions, her partner tragically handed far away from brain accidents a few years. Once they had been married, the couple didn't have any children together. In 1987 she got married to Eddie James. The two first met in Portland, Oregon, in which James worked as a barber. Following a quick dating, the couple were given married. They determined to name it quits after 17 years together. In the 17 years, the pair would welcome a son and daughters into the world. In 2009, Eddie James handed away 5 years after the couple parted methods. Sue stayed in close contact with her ex-husband till his untimely dying in his last years on earth. Sue Aikens stayed beside him, presenting him enterprise with two former husbands useless. Sue Aikens made a comic story to Melissa McCarthy that she felt like a black widow. She however persevered in searching for love, and sooner or later, she did, albeit in brief. Along with her next husband, her one-third marriage did no longer end in demise, but it did lead to heartbreak after her husband revealed to her that he and a younger woman have been having an affair. Sue Aikens rightfully divorced him and moved on. After the divorce, her third husband would sooner or later marry the younger lady. He became having an affair with Sue. Aikens hasn't gotten married seeing that, but she has plans to. She got engaged to a person named Michael Heinrich in 2021. Underpaid before she seemed on Life Below Zero, she became on other shows that centered at the lives of Alaska citizens. In the 2010 SS she can be seen on Indicates, including Sarah Palin's Alaska and Flying Wild Alaska, which did now not bring her everywhere close to the repute of Life Below Zero and ended up doing more harm than top for her. Sue Aikens filed a lawsuit against the Discovery Channel regarding her time on Flying Wild Alaska in 2013. Since she became underpaid for her paintings on the program, she also claimed that the network's portrayal of her has hampered her ability to make a residing out of doors of the display. The show, which drew a big target market, required her to do extraordinarily risky things she could now not commonly do. A good way to capture appropriate photos in trade they provided an insufficient price. Stars of her nature had been bringing in half 1 million greenbacks for doing a ways less than she did, and she or he idea that turned into extremely unfair. After a season on a cheap television display, she was no longer incomes almost as lots as she need to have. In 2016 she reached a agreement with the Discovery Channel. After accomplishing her agreement, she decided it turned into no longer sufficient to maintain and left the display the equal year. Her time on the Discovery Channel wasn't perfect, but it did open new doors for her. Manufacturers of Life Below Zero said that it changed into through her roles on the ones shows that they first noticed Sue Aikens and notion she would be in terrific suit. They approached her with a proposal whilst she changed into still on Flying Wild Alaska and struck up a deal. After her time with the Discovery Channel turned into up, she started out operating with National Geographic, and the rest is records. The cash from her new display wasn't gold bars though. In spite of her tough work and thousands of fans, she simplest acquired $4,000 in keeping with episode, whilst her network's target market remained underneath 1 million. With different stars on the display no longer even incomes one half of that weight reduction, it is almost as if the Sue Akin who first seemed on Life Below Zero and the Sue Akin that visitors saw a decade later have been two different human beings. She was never too afraid to speak openly. Approximately her weight 4 years earlier than her weight reduction in 2014, she did not question me anything for the famous internet site Reddit. She opened the sessions of questions by calling herself a 50-year-old fat chick making a laugh of her own weight. In an interview with the Survive IST, she stated that it became in 2018 that she first determined she'd decide to dropping weight. She stated that there was enough time among her injuries that she needed to heal in order that she could take on a more healthy lifestyle. She went on to mention that some of the vintage physical activities she used to do were because of the fact that sure parts of her body no longer moved as they must as enthusiasts continued to watch the display. They observed that many of her chores and sports were very physical as opposed to the usage of the machines that might have otherwise assisted her in her workload. She opted to complete tasks via hand. As the display went on, visitors saw that she kept dropping weight and was almost completely changing into a distinct individual. She changed into no longer the chunky little monkey that she as soon as known as herself. In just 12 months, she lost a complete of pound 75. The motive for her weight reduction was extra than simply having extra time. It commenced when she was 57 years antique, and she or he expressed her preference to get in better shape due to the fact she became getting near 60, so that it will make it less difficult for herself to perform her everyday activities. As she a while she stated that she needed to lose a number of the extra weight, she made a public announcement. Approximately weight reduction on Instagram whilst she wrote, "It is no mystery that I am a lovely little monkey. However, you may see that I've shared a sizable quantity of weight this year. Sue, as opposed to Wolverine, while watching Life Below Zero, we are given to inspect the damaging lifestyles that the stars of the show must undergo every day. The star we noticed the maximum of changed into Sue Aikens, and in a 2016 episode of the display we got a glimpse at simply how dangerous matters got. Sue Aikens changed into going approximately her ordinary day habitual. Whilst she looked out on the snow around her and found out that some animal become growing tracks in the snow, she observed the tracks and used the experience she'd won residing in the bloodless to pinpoint the animal that become causing her trouble. Based totally on the scale of the tracks, one could tell that they belonged to a Wolverine. She kneeled next to the prints to get a better look, and after exam she figured that the wolf terrorizing her location was a larger one. She informed the digital camera that best a person with a low intelligence level could assault an animal like a Wolverine with a weapon as vulnerable as a .22. She speedy got on her snowplow and turned round to pick up her 30-30. Sue Aikens and the camera team returned to camp, in which she loaded up her bigger gun at the same time as including ammunition to the very huge gun. She talked to the digital camera announcing that she felt greater snug with a gun of that size as the smaller weapon could probably do close to not anything. She also speculated that there can be more than one Wolverine. This turned into now not the primary time that she had come into contact with the pesky little Wolverine. The animal had been stalking her camp and causing problems for pretty a while. A brief history lesson about the Sue Aikens calls home become furnished. In the equal episode she defined that Kavik is the Eskimo word for Wolverine. In line with her, the land became named Kavik due to the fact there have been so many Wolverines on it. While it became first based extreme climate situations isolation, Sue Aikens resided within the rough and tumble outpost of Kavik River Camp, which also doubled as her head could choose the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, where the camp turned into positioned may additionally revel in bone-chilling lows of minus 60 degrees Fahrenheit 51 degrees Celsius. Even as Sue Aikens has get entry to Wi-Fi and some different modern devices, she cannot always depend on ERA, so she does not place her cache at the most technologically advanced setups to help her expect the weather. Given that she is the most effective resident of Kavik, she probably cannot depend upon a climate report. Both Sue Aikens makes use of her personal no-tech forecasting strategies to determine whether or not she desires to put together for intense climate. Sue Aikens started out with the aid of constructing a weather vane, a device that indicates which route the wind is blowing. She then used her barometer, a device that measures atmospheric pressure. After that, things end up much less simple and extra medical. Sue Aikens encouraged the usage of a Fitzroy Typhoon glass for climate updates. Kavik River Camp. Every day Sue Aikens is left to fend for herself. We watch as she does all the things important to continue to exist. The problems Alaska throws at her, which includes looking, accumulating and simple survival skills. In the course of a cave iciness, there are generally only some hours of sunshine in a day. In the summertime it is completely the other. While the summertime is short and chilly, it's miles tough to get any sleep due to the lack of darkness during the day. Arctic winds in Kavik can reach over 60 miles per hour, which makes the easy act of walking a daunting undertaking. Even as Kavik has its fair share of difficulties, there are a few blessings. Those who return 12 months after 12 months to pay to stay for some months can attest to the blessings at the camp. Photographers and filmmakers can discover plenty of possibilities to seize shots really worth bragging about. Not just that, there's also the camp's proximity to the refuge, which guarantees an unforgettable experience. Kavik River Camp additionally provides plenty of offerings for people with an adventurous spirit seeking to explore the high Arctic. Everybody can book a live on the camp, but because of the that lifestyles beneath zeros added in, there is not availability. Sue Aikens in no way knew precisely how many humans she averaged due to the fact the numbers fluctuated. However, she did realize that inside the early days of the camp she ought to maintain up to 83 humans at a time. That wide variety has changed through the years, considering that she opened the camp and has long passed down to 12 to 20, which she said could keep her booked. Between June and September, Sue Aikens made her residing off of renting out the camp, but she has said there may be extra she wants to do with the camp. She has said that her intention with Kavik River Camp turned into to come to be the first all-inexperienced camp at the North Slope. That is an aim that she turned into very affordable, with noting that it would make the effort to perform misplaced granddaughter. Some would anticipate that the hardest moments of Sue Aikens' existence have been the days within the Arctic, wherein she risked her lifestyles in freezing cold temperatures. As it turns out, Sue Aikens has been handling heartbreak and trauma in view that she appeared on the television display. Sue Aikens become married, 3 instances of her husbands lamentably handed away, and the third became located having an affair with a younger woman. Regrettably for Sue Aikens, as time went on, more stressful activities transpired in her lifestyles. In 20123, a heartbreaking news document surfaced in which Sue Aikens pointed out her current losses inside the 21st season of Life Below Zero. In addition to the significance of own family in her life, at some point of the show she gave a shifting homage to her past due sister and grandchild Drew McClurg. Sue and the circle of relatives did no longer display the appropriate reason of Drew's death. Fans of this system were helping Aikens on many platforms ever because it aired. Lovers flooded her Twitter account to allow her recognize that they have been there for her. They praised her for giving any such lovely and heartfelt tribute. In addition, they told her how sorry they were for her loss. In addition to providing up all in their condolences and mine to her, many lovers reminded her to maintain at what she changed into doing and praised her for being so strong, each mentally and physically. Not a whole lot turned into known approximately her past due granddaughter, as both she and Sue Aikens saved her private lifestyles below wraps. We do know that at the time of her unlucky passing, she changed into most effective 19 years old. Sue Aikens' life, both on display and off, has been both loopy and traumatic. She's received thousands and thousands of fans doing what she considers natural after maintaining up along with her remote life for so long. Lovers are always going to marvel what comes of her strange life. Would you dare to stay in such an isolated area all by means of yourself? Do you have got what it takes to tackle such an exciting and threatening lifestyle? Let us realize within the remarks. Thanks for watching. Be a part of us subsequent time for some other exciting video.